I would expect nothing else from Hourglass. This triangle design, a little bit heavy when you hold it. So if you're somebody that travels with their foundation to touch up or whatnot, it's just a little bit heavy. Let's look at the foundation brush. This size, the shape of the foundation brush, is what you would consider a typical foundation stick to be. So it's a cylinder shape, but the brush itself is cut at an angle. Brush is cruelty free. So if that's part of your lifestyle and your beliefs, then you'll be happy with the brush. My color is Golden Almond, and this is the exact color of my skin. When you turn the applicator, not only does the product start to push up, but you can actually feel it. There's tension in the turn dial. So I actually appreciate that because it kind of shows me, oh, it's going up. Makes me kind of feel like, you know, it's doing something. But then when I start to go down, I know not only is the product all the way down inside the container because it won't go anymore. Same thing when you put the lid back on, you'll hear a click. And that means it's secure and it's safe inside. So if this is rummaging around in your pocket or your purse, it is not going to spill or get all over your contents. So I actually appreciate that. With the Vanish Foundation, you have the claims of it's like a liquid foundation. It has double the amount of pigment in it, so it almost acts like a concealer. And then once it dries down and everything is settled on your skin, it's going to turn almost into like a powder finish. So those are the three main claims with the Vanish Foundation. So with that in mind, this is the third time I have worn this foundation. Now the first time I wore the Vanish Foundation, I did not use any primer. Reason being is I want to see how my own particular skin oils reacts to the foundation. Whenever you put on a foundation, once it touches your own skin's oils, that is going to determine if it's going to oxidize or not. So your skin might react to it or it might not. So it's different with everybody. So I didn't want anything with a barrier between my skin and the foundation. So if nothing happened and didn't oxidize, nothing. And I also didn't have any type of an allergic reaction to the foundation. So that's a plus. Texture of this foundation, it's not thick at all. It's not also what I would consider like an emollient type of a texture. If you're someone that likes to use their fingers, you can spread it very easy. In the demo, you see me kind of sweeping the brush back and forth. So picture that as if those are your fingers. meaning you can spread the texture of the product on your skin and will start to blend and buff in with your fingers. So that's why I kind of went like that to see would it move, or if it's really kind of like a sticky texture, meaning you have to kind of just buff it in. Also, it works fine with a sponge. I don't see why not. Again, because this texture moves on the skin. So even with the sponge, it should be able just to kind of buff and spread on. The very first coat that I put on my skin, I was fine with that. I could be completely done with that. I'm fine. I can put one coat on my skin and be done with it. Now, I don't have a lot of areas on my face in which I have to cover. So then the last thing is going in on those particular areas on my face where I do need additional coverage, where I would actually need to pull in a concealer per se to cover. I have one mark up here, and I kind of just dabbed that with my finger. I just wanted to kind of see would that kind of go in almost like a concealer brush, so to speak, and it covers it but not completely. Then I go down here, dab it into these areas where I would naturally put in the concealer, and it does not build up in pigment. Now, from an artist perspective, if you're going to claim to be a full coverage foundation and you're going to have double the amount of pigmentation in the product to, in a sense, not have me pull in a concealer, it better cover a dark mark. It better cover it to the point where I might have to just take a concealer and just go very lightly, and boom, it's covered. That's what I expect. That I did not get from this particular foundation. Now, if you have dry skin or very dry skin, you probably already shy away from stick concealers because you think it's going to be already very drying for your skin. Texture of this stick concealer is unique in the aspect of, I feel this would be fine for somebody with dry skin. As long as you prep your skin with a moisturizing, a hydrating type of primer, you're fine to use this foundation. Foundation is not going to, in a sense, suck away the dryness. It's not going to suck away everything on top of your skin, so to speak. I think that it will spread and it will cover nice on your skin. If you've got normal skin like I do, you're fine as well. Oily skin, change up the primer. Use one that is going to mattify your skin, kind of, help blur your pores. And as you go about your day, that's really going to kind of help you determine how the foundation is going to work with you. Is it going to oxidize on your skin depending on your skin oils? Is it going to make you, am I going to get greasy throughout the day? Now, if you're dry skin again or normal skin, you don't need to set this with powder. It does claim that it kind of dries down to a powdery finish. If you have oily skin, I would recommend still continue your existing routine. So if that means that you just put powder in certain areas or you powder your entire face, I would still continue to do that, but I would do that with I wouldn't put so much more powder on top of this because of how the texture kind of turns and mimics into a powder type of foundation. It's almost kind of like you're layering on an additional layer of powder onto your skin. So just, if you're going to set this with powder, just don't do it as heavy as you normally would do if you weren't using this foundation, if that makes sense. If I had purchased this on my own, after trying it and everything, it would be something that I would return to the store. Again, reason being is, I feel that I still have to go in with additional concealer to cover up my imperfections on my skin. And I'm thinking going into the application process, if it has a lot of pigment inside of the texture, it should go ahead and cover up those marks pretty much to the point where I barely have to use any concealer. And in my case, it didn't. So that alone, I would have taken it back. In regards to the brush, I think the brush works fine. It buffs, it blends in not only this foundation, I already can tell this will go ahead and blend and buff in any of my other liquid foundations that I currently have in my collection. Now, is this something that I would have purchased on my own? No, even though these are marketed and sold together, in my case, they don't need to be twins. I don't need to have the brush to match with the foundation. I just would use whatever I already currently have at home. So those are my thoughts and opinion on Hourglass's new Vanish foundation with their matching foundation brush. Don't forget to subscribe on your way out. That way you always know when I upload every week here on the channel. And I do want to thank you for stopping by and watching. And as always, I'm going to see you in the next video. Bye.